phone line has nothing to do with the big one. It was plugged in there, but
Well, that's not a phone line, it's plugged in, that's what, that's
but it's wireless, isn't it?
no.
No, anything that came through that router to go, it's been taking the router completely out. So it could be the router.
But we still have internet.
Your internet is wireless, so.
Right. So anything that's, right. So anything that got hit when that storm came through, it went through all that wiring and burned up the board.
Turn up everything.
We got the alarm.
So there is a chance that the router is probably bad.
That was what, $380?
That's your AT&T, right? And dealing with them and getting a new one.
Yeah, cause he just.
The router's still good, it's
Well, I was
working.
over at
Yours is
Rob's, we
working.
just went through this with his, cause he has Spectrum.
Your router's still working
And
too.
they thought it was his computer, and they did everything, and ended up being
There's a switch, a power switch up there.
half the
that
router was
runs
bad.
to the security system, to the printer, to,
Okay. Well, I can't do it with zip.
Alright, I'll get wholesale on Monday.
Unless he can, I don't need it, if he can get me to
I'll
talk.
look at it today.
If he can get me to talk to Bob and Vallis, I'll be okay.
Should be able to log that. You probably just don't have that software loaded in on it.
Yeah, Bob and Doug is working.
I used to, yeah,
Yeah, but still doesn't need the software docs. No?
I used to be able to, and then with the new computer I can't. It won't talk to it. They don't like each other.
It could be something as simple as the IP address is
11.
reset.
Yep, 11. All right, we'll go ahead and get started with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you all for coming. Oh, George is here. All right, George. All right, so all present. Jordan's here, all present. Thank you all for coming. Graduation party at 2, so we're just gonna do it out here. Okay, so we basically need to explain our budget. So what we have is the first line in the budget is the original budget from 23-24. The amended amounts are basically the total amounts as of the 24th of this month. We always just amend to where our actual spending went to. And then the third line is the proposed 24-25 budget. Expenditures are included for the general fund, and then they are broken down on page 3 by department, basically. So you have the office expenses, then it goes to trustee, supervisor, clerk, so forth and so on, all the way down. So they're kind of broke down into subtotals, sub-departments. Fire, ambulance, and trash are basically done as a whole. So that kind of explains how the budget is laid out. So, okay? Anybody have any comments on that at all? No? All right, so we're good, we can go into public comment. If anybody wants to make a public comment on anything? Is this signing for public comment, or is it just signing for who is here?
Signing for the-
Okay. Anybody? Any public comment? No? Okay, all right. So, and then we're gonna close the public,
What time did we open?
we just opened it at 11:02, and we closed it at 11:02, nobody wanted to talk. Okay. So now when we go through and adopt these, we're gonna adopt the amended budget, and we're gonna adopt the proposed budget that we did in the work session a month or so ago in May. So we're gonna adopt those. The only ones, if you notice, the ones that are underlined, fire proposed budget and ambulance proposed budget, we cannot do. Those have to be posted by the clerk in the paper 10 days before the meeting that we do this in, because we don't know if it's gonna, the millage is gonna pass. So they're up for re-millage this year, so we can't approve something if we don't know if the millage passes. So we have to do that after the passage of the millage. So 4 and 6 we take until the time after the passage of the millage in the August election. All right. So, number one, general fund budget amendment. I make a motion to approve the amended budget for 23-24. You, Jordan, doesn't matter. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? None. The general fund proposed budget for 24-25. I'll make a motion to approve the general fund 24-25 budget.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye, opposed?
Nay.
Okay. The amended budget for the fire fund for 23-24. I'll make a motion to approve that amended budget.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? None. Okay, and once again, 4, the proposed budget is postponed. The ambulance fund amended budget. I will make a motion to approve the 23-24 ambulance fund amended budget.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ambulance fund proposed budget, of course, postponed. 23-24 rubbish fund budget amended. I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay, the rubbish fund 24-25 budget proposal. I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. So I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Give the time, please.
11:05. Okay. Let's see, the annual meeting, what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, we're good. Okay, so, the supervisor and the clerk will call the meeting to order we have 16, at 11:05, and we have 16 voters of the electorate, including the 5 board members. Okay. Do you have last year's minutes? We didn't have an annual meeting last year, did we? I didn't think we had 16 members that were present.
No, I don't think you need 16 members.
Yeah, you need 1% of the electoral vote. So I don't think we had an official meeting last year, because you need, to have an annual meeting, you have to have 1% of the registered voters, and we have
That's
1565.
I'm
Where does
sorry.
that have that?
Yeah, where is that written, please?
I don't know, I don't have that with me right now, but we're gonna have one this year, but we did not have one last year,
No.
okay? Unless you have the minutes.
Oh. They are, the 1%, if I remember rightly, is if you're trying to abolish the, annual meeting. It has nothing to do with the majority voting here today. The majority of the elector would be 3 people, because just the clerk and the supervisor have to be present to chair the meeting. So if there's no more than 2 people, there is no quorum, because there is no split vote to have a 2 to, or a 3 to 1, or 2 to 1, sorry.
I don't see that in here. This is general law.
I'm gonna check with MCA.
All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and have our annual meeting today.
I can grab it.
If you want to, yep. Sure, yeah, we can do that. Okay, so we go to approve the salary resolutions. We already approved, we approved the salary resolutions at the May meeting, right? Yeah.
Budget meeting,
No, at the May meeting, didn't we approve them? Yeah. I make a motion to approve the salary resolutions as stated at the May meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Need a roll call vote.
Okay. Mobley, yes.
Really, yes.
Yes.
Hold on, let me write these down. Okay.
Call the question, please.
Hold on, we're doing a roll call right now. Montgomery?
Nay.
Okay. And anybody else in, I mean,
All these people.
okay, so state your name.
Nikki, no.
Me, yes, sir.
Nay. John.
Last name?
Fenner.
Okay.
Carrie.
Ron?
Aye.
Aye.
Who was that?
One, two.
Me.
Oh,
Okay.
Karen Patno, no.
Okay.
Roger Patton, no.
Okay. Okay. You-
I'd say
You abstain? Okay. Well, what's your, your last name?
Beam Lander. Nay.
Nay?
Yep.
Tom Montgomery, nay.
Nay.
Nay, what's your answer?
John.
John? Okay.
Brianna Mason, nay.
Okay.
Robert Hampton, abstain.
I ain't never helped us do anything.
And your name?
Brenda Hampton, no.
I'll spell your first name?
Brenda.
Brenda, thank you.
Yes, you can see who's going.
Three abstentions. I'm not sure Saturday. I'm being Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay. All right, so, this is the first time we've ever had this in the
I'm
annual
gonna lock
meeting.
that front door.
Yes,
5
sir.
yeas, 10 nays,
Yep.
3 abstained.
Yep. I don't know how that works.
Salary is not approved.
Okay, moving on.
And I called the question.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, we're gonna have public comment here in a minute, but go ahead.
Oh, as far as, I don't know if everyone's aware, but per Robert's rules, abstaining from voting on a question of direct personal interest. No member should vote on a question in which he or she has a direct personal or pecuniary interest, not common to other members of the organization. I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention.
I would like clarification on, is this a denial of all salaries or just
The one on resolution.
Well, they're
The
all
one
on
on
it.
this, they're all on
Wow.
resolution.
Well, the trustees are not, but the supervisor,
Oh, I see.
the clerk, and the treasurer are. The trustees are not. I think they remain the same the way they are the prior year.
Yep.
That's where they stay. Okay?
Should we vote on that, just so, you know?
No, that's where they have to stay. I'll get counsel on that. We'll talk about it in the meeting. See where we go from here. All right, state of the township address. All right, so we got the 4th of July coming up, we got fireworks at dark, we got the parade at noon. Financially, the township is in really good shape. We have made quite a few improvements to the township, and we have not really deleted our fund equity at all. I think the township's in really good shape, and the board has been saving issues, 4 issues, some major issues that we have coming up that we're gonna have to deal with. We'll talk about those later. Fire department, we're good. The only problem with, financially, we're in good shape with the fire department. The only problem with the fire that we are noticing is that everything costs a fortune, okay? An axe that we can buy for $50 is, how much are your Hilliard?
About 300.
Yeah, and they're not much different. But because it has to be fire rated, it is what it is. And we are trying to figure out ways to cut costs, fundraise, but that's very hard in an environment where you have $4 a gallon gas. Yes.
I worked for a shop that was huge, in the Fortune 100 on the planet. We bought all our fire-related equipment for the shop. There was a vendor that dealt in that equipment.
We already get GSA pricing.
No, it wasn't GSA.
Well, that's the cheapest we can get.
It was E something.
Well, if you could let Ron know, that'd be great.
I'll research it if I can find it.
Yeah.
It's been 12 years since I dealt with it, but we bought everything there because it was cheaper. So, I mean, if you look at other alternatives other than, going to Menards, and now you can't do that.
No, we don't go to Menards, they buy it directly from fire.
So I understand that, but I think
No,
there
actually,
are some cheaper alternatives
we
than
buy-
a $300
One of the
ad.
places we buy is Fire Hose Direct, which is the absolute cheapest that we can find
I know.
for good equipment.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, what did we buy? Those 10 SCBA's? And this is very
Yes.
important for our fire department, that they have lightweight bottles, that they have good SCBA's. It was $100 and some thousand for 10. $20,000 a setup. And we're not playing around with guys' cancer in their health. I'm not.
Yeah, I understand
So, I
that.
mean,
I
but I'm
understand
just saying, so our fire truck, I think our previous fire truck, we paid, don't quote me exact on this, because this was 25 years ago before my time, but it was like $200,000 to $300,000 to replace that fire truck, $800 grand right now. With a millage that produces a little over 160.
I just know dealing with vendors, I dealt with vendors on multi-million-dollar budgets.
Yeah.
And I just know when you deal with vendors consistently over time and time,
Yeah.
and you always take their bid for it, that usually their bids go up higher than what,
Well, we don't. Our fire department does. We buy from different places. They look around, they shop around quite a
So we
bit.
take sealed bids.
Yes, in most instances, yes. Yeah. A lot of times it's just, cheap for the guys calling to see who can give us what for what price.
Mhm.
So it doesn't have to necessarily be they're just finding the lowest price out there. But yeah, if you find that information, that'd be
I
great.
don't recall what Jack's number is, but he has a limit on what he can spend.
Yep, I understand that.
Yeah. And then everything else gets approved
I
through the
mean,
board
like-
after that. I think it's 3 for
I
Jack.
just know the government, the United States government paid $600 for a toilet seat.
Well, we're not that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
No, I'm just saying,
But I'm
let's
saying-
shop around before we buy a $300 axe because,
That was facetious.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
that was
I'm just saying,
facetious.
that we can
But I'm
shop
saying,
around.
fire equipment is very costly.
Oh,
It has
yeah.
to be rated to certain ladders. You can't buy a Home Depot ladder.
Just an example, if you take a shovel, you can go to Dublin, buy a shovel for, what, $12, $15?
Probably 20,
Yeah, 25.
We're
All
done.
right. But we have to have stuff that comes, that is rated for fire, even though it's the same thing.
Yeah, I understand
It's got
that.
that little stamp on it that says NFPA approved. Well, when they add that stamp, they triple the price.
I understand that.
Difference between craft and Meyer, got it.
Gotta love the government when they add that little
It
stamp.
wasn't to be a debate about that. I'm just saying the rising costs that we all are facing, we're all facing in the fire service.
Yeah, as long
Fire
as,
service was
as long
expensive
as
to
we
start
don't
with.
mind looking at alternatives, of what's the best bang. for
We
buck.
always do. Jack always shops around. Jack and Ian and Ron, they always shop around for stuff. So, trust me, I get all the different options that we can do. Okay, so ambulance, we're really good financially. We're set with a very nice rig. Our only problem with the ambulance service is finding people that were willing to be EMTs. I mean, it's a long commitment, and it's a lot of time. And these people, Ron in particular, they run at all hours of the night and day for almost no pay. And can be very taxing, and it's the goodness of their hearts to why they do it. So members, is the only really issue we have with that. Rubbish fund, I believe we're good there. We might have to in the next year or two look at raising that amount. 16 years ago when I started, it was $45. In the last 16 years, it has raised to $28. And that's just the cost of trucking, cost of labor, and cost of removing our trash by the yard. As that goes up, but still $58, $58.27 is a cheap way to get rid of your trash all year long. We have done some cost saving measures in the past. The compactor kept it lower. We have done, and we are still looking at doing, as far as the recycling, keeping that going. But recycling really isn't a cost saving measure. And then keeping our cleanup, the way we've done our cleanup, limiting the size, the amount you can bring on the cleanup and charging, has prevented those extremely large, rolls, roll-off type trailers coming in and dumping just yards and yards and yards. So the cleanup has gotten more efficient.
I have a question on that. With a fund equity of $102,000 after the end of the year per this budget, why would we need, and expenditures of 90, well, income of 97, 94 expenditures, why would we need to raise the
When do we get the trash
cost?
money?
Not till December.
Not till December.
What?
So we're getting in about 90 and spending about 90. Right now, we don't have to, but if costs go up,
Oh, okay.
and that fund equity, you have to remember, that's already half a year is gone. So by the end of that year, half of that year is gonna be gone. So our fund equity balance, that's the weird thing, where how we set up our fiscal year and where the township gets the majority of its taxes in here. So we've already spent through half of the money that came in for the next year. So it's kind of a little strange. I mean, that rubbish fund budget will get close, or other budgets will get close come December, January, then all of a sudden taxes roll in and we're back flush again. So that's why
It's
that
up for renewal
strange.
next year as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to send out letters and stuff next year. But, I mean, if you wanna vote that down, that's crazy, but you're not gonna find trash for cheaper than $60 a year. Yes?
I got a concern about the compactor,
Mm-hmm.
how it's continuously running. Is that not a safety issue?
We've never had any issue with it. Jason, you were
That
more
doesn't
familiar
mean
with
it's
it
not
than I
gonna
am.
happen.
They never had any issues with that compact.
Okay,
Always charged.
you're not understanding
No,
what I'm
she's talking
saying.
about how the door's left open and the.
Doors left open and the
You guys
compactor
figure
door.
what-
You know, we're the only township that has doors on their compactor. Every other one is open. Even the one in Brotherton, they don't even have a box on theirs. Theirs is completely open. So,
But I just thought it
We
might
just
be
do
a
it for,
concern.
to speed up the line.
Oh, I understand the
well,
reason
if
it might be
you close,
running.
if you close the doors, it's 7 minutes. It's a 7-minute cycle. So in 7 minutes, the cars just pile up.
So as the compactor's running, we can throw trash on top. As it slides back, it falls and it just
Correct.
continues to run. It's a way to expedite the process and get people moving along on a Saturday morning, Wednesday night.
So please at least acknowledge that there could be a possibility of an issue.
Nikki, I'm sorry.
I'm sure there could be, I mean.
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
So Nikki, just, maybe to ease you a bit, the township is due every 5 years for a risk assessment where our liability carrier comes out and does that. It should be, scheduled sometime in August or September, because we are coming up on the 5-year. So if you want to follow up, I can let you know whether that was a concern of theirs.
Okay, I just know that there is a safety switch on there and a safety
Right.
protocol, so
Right.
it was just something I noticed last week when I came to church.
Okay.
Thank you.
Alright, so, let me go back to, alright, so we'll go on to projects. So completed projects that we've done in the last year and a half. We got 2 new docks down at the backwaters. We have installed signal lighting and bumpers on those. We have solar power signal lighting that is flat on the deck. They are meant for walkways and driveways, so they seem to be working really well. We got a lot of compliments on that. We have the new fishing dock, remove the old fishing dock, put the new fishing dock in at the lake, which also serves people to tie up their boats if they do their unpowered boats on there. Playground equipment was installed this year. We had new swings. It looks really nice. That section of the park is, I think, really coming along nice with the flagpole, the swings, and the playground set. There is a group trying to raise some money for some additional little hardware down there. Let's see. We had a new alarm system installed in the township. Of course, after that storm we had Monday, we're having a few issues with that. Had a few issues with some printers and fax machines in the office, but we're gonna get that taken care of here in the next week. We bought a new dump trailer for, to haul our tractor and to go over the leaf pickup. It's working out really well. Tim did a wonderful job in erecting that. It handles the leaf pickup a lot better than the box of the truck because it gives it more area for time to fall, and he's getting a much bigger load with that. It's helping out with the cleanup. Let's see, so coming projects that we have already approved, new floor for the town hall, that's ordered, we're gonna get a schedule for that, and that door will be changing out of a residential door to a commercial door by Tube Light, installed by Douglas out of Cadillac. It's gonna become one 42-inch door instead of a double door, so we don't have problems with that astragal not getting locked and the door not being secure. It will also have ADA applied push buttons to open the door for seniors, so there'll be one in here and one out on the pole. You push button it, and it'll open up for those in walkers and wheelchairs. So that helps with, updating our township hall. In the works, cemetery data is being collected, remarking the cemetery data, finding existing pins, and trying to find the plot markers that have been removed. Working on that. Other big projects. The really only one that we have in discussion is the beach wall and what we're gonna do with that. We have had some planning sessions and got some preliminary pricing for the large, what do you call them, bin blocks? What do they call those big blocks? The big retaining, the 2 foot by 2 foot by 4 foot, doing it out of retaining wall blocks. We've also had the idea of doing it out of steel, retaining wall steel. Changing the shape of it a little bit, but that's in the work, but that's something that we're gonna have to tackle in the next couple of years, because that's gonna be an extremely expensive project, and we gotta figure out which is gonna be the best bang for the buck for the money. So we've been working on that.
If I may, one of the things that people have asked me is that if you would consider when you're doing the beach wall to make like a seating area, tier it, so that during the fireworks, people could sit at that and say, I know we have benches out there now, but just to make it a wall that went there and then up again. Yeah, in order to, provide some kind of seating and maybe even a couple of tiers. I don't know if, whether you could put a walk step that comes down in the middle of it or something. And then on the security, do you have a definitive date? Because we are not in compliance with the state monitoring of the drop box at this time.
No. It's the 5th is when they're coming out.
So what can we do to resolve that?
You wanna put up a trail cam, you could do that, put that on, and I can take pictures, because I know there are townships that are just using trail cams.
Do we have a trail?
No, I do not. If you wanna purchase one, you can get that and just put the bill into the township. Anybody else have anything? That's kinda what I got from the state of where we're at.
Yeah, hey, I got a question. The clerk got a grant for a generator for the place. Is this going anywhere, or?
Last thing, you told us that you were looking at some other funding and grant possibilities with it, so we didn't know at this time what it was.
In the event that, additional grant funding is, and there is nobody else, are we just gonna give back the 4,000, or is that something that?
That would have to
board
be discussed
consider?
we'd have to discuss that at a board meeting, yeah. And we don't know the price of what generators we're looking at. We need to know the different prices.
I told you I had updated ones, I'll get them to you this week, yeah.
We just didn't have the updated quotes at the time of the last meeting.
Is there an expiration on using the monies that you received?
Yes,
Right.
November 2nd.
Thank you.
And you talked to Mike Allison,
Who's that?
consumer seller.
I'll get you the number.
Okay, no, I haven't talked to that, but I'm still waiting on another quote from a different
See,
person.
we just don't have a lot of quotes in.
I have I had 3 that I submitted with the grants, and then, we requested that I get updated ones, so.
I just think it'd be a big asset for the center here.
Well, especially
You know.
after we just had that blitz and everything, that fried everything, that potentially could have been helpful.
Anybody else? All right, I may,
Excuse me. Here's
oh, the minutes, I'm
yes.
sorry, forgot the minutes.
All right.
Look over the minutes real quick, does anybody see anything?
under the public comment, I see a question, there was a question about ambulance billing.
Mm-hmm.
Why was that never brought to the department's attention?
What
I
ambulance building did
don't know who made it, does it indicate who made the billing question?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know who made it.
So, what I would tell it, what I'd say to everybody is, if you are transported by Norman Township's ambulance, we take what your insurance pays. Should you get a bill, please get it to the office so they can get it to me so we can get it taken care of.
It might have been a question about
Oh, yeah, I think I
MMR.
remember that, I think it was Janet was asking how that worked
Yeah, and
last year. I think I do remember that,
And we,
how
I think
it
we
worked.
explained that to you.
Right.
Yeah. You are considered, when we did this 6-7 years ago, there was a question of charging the people in the township $75 to $100 a year to become a member of the ambulance service. That is how they do it in a lot of large cities. That's how Fire Recovery, who was our billing company that walked us through this and helped us get this set up, said that's how they usually do it. The board at that time opted to make everybody that is a resident and pays the fire millage, fire and ambulance millage, an automatic member. So as the member status, we bill your insurance. You have no out of pocket. If we ship you, if we are not available, and MMR does, then you do get the full bill. And then out-of-towners were, I don't know, Ron, if this number is still correct, but at the time we did, it was about 45% of our runs were non-residents at that time. So I think it's probably the same, maybe a little lower.
Maybe just a little lower.
So 45% of the people were paying zero. So that's why we did the billing, and that's what's made our ambulance solid. That's why we still have it. If we wouldn't have done this billing, the ambulance would have been gone 4 years ago.
So is it property owners that get the free, or billing your insurance, and if there's extra, it's free? Or is it just residents?
It's
If you own property and pay,
the fire millage, it's millage payers.
now if they don't tell me they own the property, I can't mark the sheet.
So those that,
We
are
are,
exempt from taxation, they don't get the service?
no, they do. If it's a veteran's
No,
exemption, they get
if
it.
they're exempted by law,
Okay,
they're still covered.
all right.
Because they were billed that tax, it was exempted
It's
off.
exempt. Okay, so then if you're just a property owner, like the seasonals, do they get it?
They pay taxes, so as long as I know that,
Okay,
see, now, like,
right. I thought so, I just refresher.
if they.
They get it, but their friends
If
don't.
they're secondary residents, they get it, but all their friends and acquaintances coming up,
Right, right.
staying, don't get it.
Okay,
Because they have a legal address here,
right.
even if it's not their primary address.
And
Are
then
you gonna
uninsured.
address the frivolous? I got a toothache, call an ambulance, I stubbed my toe, broke nail.
We have-
We are
The law
required,
says
we are
if you
Yeah, I know
call,
you're required to attend,
Yeah.
you know, you gotta show up, I understand that, but if it turns out it's just frivolous, and I think you know who I'm talking about, and they're always constantly being Uber driver to Manistee, and then come home and there's nothing wrong with them because they're drinking their coffee, having a good time, is there any repercussions that after, look, you've had 5 calls this quarter, all really non-medical emergencies.
We have a frequent flyer policy, don't we?
Yeah, excessive use.
it doesn't fall under for ambulance,
Yeah.
because
We're required to
the
go.
law,
Yeah, I understand that, we're required to go, but
the law says if you wanna go to the hospital, I cannot refuse to take you.
yeah. But if it's always turning out to be, it's always a non-emergency, non-frivolous, I got a hang, I got a sliver, I'm gonna go get the doctor to pull it out because, you know, maybe the
We take 'em.
EMT would show up. But
We
I
take 'em.
understand, don't take them, but is it always gonna be free?
We bill their insurance.
You know, there's gotta be a limit.
I know what you're talking about, and that particular insurance pays us very well, so.
It's
Yeah, but if you're
unfortunate.
there,
You can't-
if someone had a heart attack down the road, you're
I-
tied up.
No, I would defer to the higher priority call.
You know.
There is a protocol in place that if somebody's dying,
Yeah, it's a true emergency.
I can go to that and say, I'm sorry, if you wanna go out, we'll come back and get you.
Yeah, they'll prioritize the most needy.
I'm just afraid that you guys are gonna
This
be
is
tied
actually
up on
something where
non-emergency,
maybe
because
you can have a
somebody,
little input on, because I don't know if anybody saw it, but Benzie County has now started priority dispatch. We are the last county in the Lower Peninsula that does not have priority dispatch after our 911 center spent
A lot of money on the new system.
a lot of money and the training to go with it.
Are we on the 800 frequency yet?
Yes and no.
Okay.
We have it in all the trucks, we do not have the portables
I
yet.
can talk with, have a talk with her son.
Well, I wish you good luck, because several of the chiefs have tried with Mike and it hasn't went anywhere.
Alright, so I make a motion that we go back up and approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Alright. I make a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, thank y'all for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, they tell me what time it is.
11:34, 11:34.
No, they were, I got them out of there.
The number that seems to stick in my mind is a lot of money.
Thank you.
For some reason,
I would have to look back in.
to buy the software and all the training.
I can't go that high. And I gotta update
On the
what I
fact,
got.
are you gonna be down there with us?